Okay, welcome my dear students in our course International Financial Markets, lecture number 4. Today we will present some topics related to international money market in our application sheet and chapter 2 related to Forex market. The first topic, international money market in our application sheet, started from page 11. Two certificates we will present today. Negotiable Certificate of Deposits, abbreviation NCDS, and Eurodollar NCDS. Many common items between two certificates, like short-term deposit. So we talk about international money market. So in all cases, we focus on short-term deposits or short-term instruments. The second item common between two certificates cannot be cashed in at the issuing bank before maturity. Yes, this issue or when we talk about the two certificates, only you can trade with certificates in the money or in the secondary markets, but you cannot make it liquid before maturity. So NCDS and ENCDS sold in the secondary markets prior to maturity. You can trade in two certificates. What about denominations minimum $100,000? So many institutions or financial or non-financial institutions can participate effectively in this market, and individual limited participation for this market because higher or large denominations of dollars. What about maturity time or range? Started from 2 weeks, but sure lower than 1 year because we talk about short term. What about yield? This is number 4. Yield for NCDS and ENCDS. The yield over the UST bills, but with lower percent to make it attractive instruments. Oh, how many common items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items or common items between NCDS and ENCDS. What about differences? Number 1, NCDS represent domestic currency deposits. We talk about the currency deposits. For example, in USA, we talk about US banks denominated in the USA. In ENCDS, we talk about euro dollars. For example, American banks, but out of USA, branches out of USA. So ENCDS are primarily issued in the London and therefore frequently termed London dollar NCDS. Okay, what about the yield? Two categories for yield. Yield until maturity and yield before maturity. But in all cases, we talk about F as face value, P as a price, I as interest. In all cases, how many days in the year? We talk about 360 days. So yield before maturity, this is the second case, and yield until maturity, this is the first case. What's the difference between until maturity and prior or before maturity? Number 1, we talk about face value, F, but in case of before maturity or prior to maturity, we talk about price, two prices. Price in the time T, and price in time T plus 1. In all cases, this is the same interest rate. The second difference, we talk about days. Days, the first, this is the day to maturity. but days in the second case we talk about days before maturity. We can talk about example. Investor purchased NCD 6 months ago in the secondary market for 990,000. He redeems it today upon maturity and receives $1 million plus interest equal $20,000. Two cases. His annualized yield on this NCD. In the first, our assumption that the yield until maturity. So we will use F as a face value. How many? 1 million. What about price? Price in this case, NT time. Price equal $990,000. What about interest rate equal $20,000? So in this case, days equal the full maturity date. 6 months times 30 days equal 180. So this annual yield equals 6.06%. The second case, suppose he sold it 2 months ago for 1,007,000. We will replace only the face value equal 1 million. No, in this case 1,007,000. The next, what about interest rate? Interest rate in this case equals 0. No interest rate. What about days? Days in the first equal 180. This is the full time, 180. 2 months ago sold, so we will cut the 60 days from 180 equal 120 days. So the percent equal 5.15%. In our application sheet, you will solve the assignment number 3, page 13 in the application sheet. This is the first topic in our lecture today, but we will present the second topic related to Forex market. First point in Forex. Forex stands for foreign exchange. So we talk about international trading currencies. This is market or Forex market. We can sell or buy currencies between individuals, between commercial banks, between any participants or key players in the Forex market. What about abbreviation OTC? OTC abbreviation for out of the counter. So there is no physical place where the participants or partners or individuals or banks meet to perform their deals. The banks connected to each other by telecommunications, like telephone, like e-commerce, satellite, and all tools for technology. Perfect competition. When we talk about perfect competition, maybe the Forex market, we classify the Forex market as a competitive market. Why? Because we can check about the factors related to foreign Forex market as a competitive. The first factor, homogeneous product. In perfect competition or competitive market, we talk about homogeneous product. The same in Forex. The units traded or currencies in Forex market are homogeneous. Maybe US dollar is a dollar and euro is a euro, Egyptian pound is the Egyptian pound. Add the same unit. Number 2, many traders. Many traders, this is the second factor related to competitive market. So large numbers of buyers and sellers. So there is many sellers operating and purchase. Some individuals purchase some banks for the market 24 hours per day. The third item, we talk about free access to high quality or real-time information with low transaction costs. In this case, the costs, if you want to check about the price of US dollar, you can use your mobile to discover the price, how many Egyptian pounds per dollar, how many euro per dollar. So you can talk about free access for information, for transactions cost, in general transaction costs at minimum for Forex market. Perfect freedom of entry and exit from the market. Maybe in some countries, in major institutions, no restrictions, no barriers to can enter the market or exit from the market. Maybe some exception, yes, some exceptions in cases of problem, crisis. Maybe the central bank or monetary authorities impose some restrictions. The functions for Forex market. We talk about functions of the Forex market. Function number one, currency conversion. You can facilitate, when we use the Forex market, it facilitates foreign transactions. You can sell and buy products with a foreign currency or national currency. Currency hedging. This is the second function for Forex hedging. You can avoid any potential losses from adverse changes in currency prices. You can use the Forex to hedge, to avoid risk, to avoid any change in the currency prices. The third function, arbitrage. Arbitrage, we talk about profit. Profit in immediate purchase and sell. This is a spot purchase or spot sell for currencies to can make a profit. The last one, speculation. In case of speculation, you can talk about risk taker. Risk taker to can create profit in the long run. This is profit may be the difference between the purchasing price and the selling price for any currency. And in this case, we talk about high risk for speculation. The next, what about the Forex market actors or key players? In case of Forex market, number one, the main actor in Forex market, commercial banks. Commercial banks, the major player in the Forex market, because major transactions and all transactions between the individuals and institutions, business, it depends on the commercial bank, depend on the commercial bank. So in case of commercial bank, we talk about commercial bank in different financial centers. So most Forex transactions include the exchange of bank deposit and purchasing and selling for currencies. The second key player, we talk about international corporation. International corporation, in this case, we talk about clients, corporation as a client for the commercial bank. Maybe we talk about multinational corporation, MNCs, the mother company in USA, but branches over the world. Maybe one branch in Egypt, another branch in Saudi Arabia, another branch in UK, and so on. So international corporation or MNCs, the same effective actor or key player in the Forex market. Player number three, central bank. In case of central bank, this is the manager for Forex market. Central bank can play the effective role to facilitate transactions, create or introduce instructions for commercial banks to manage. What about the macroeconomic policy targets and the current situation for Forex market. Mainly, in case of foreign exchange regimes, in case of fixed exchange regime, talk about the central bank intervene into the market to keep or protect a level of exchange rate for the currencies. The last player, non-bank financial institution. A non-bank financial institution, we talk about some institutions with the liberalization of financial services, because GATS and some agreements related to international trade and services. Examples for non-financial banks, we talk about mutual funds, which provide their customer a wide range of services, like a bank. Yes, we talk about a non-bank financial institution and some insurance companies, hedge funds, and mainly we talk about non-financial institutions. So, in all cases, in case of commercial bank, direct institution to deal with the clients and individuals and business. International corporation, we talk about the relationship between the mother company and the branches. In central bank, we talk about the manager, how to manage Forex market, how you can make instructions for the commercial banks and other institutions to can manage or keep some stability in the Forex market. In non-financial institutions, we talk about modern trends in financial institutions like insurance, like hedge funds, and so on. How these institutions can make a participation in the Forex market with the effective process. Forex rates. The next topic, we talk about Forex rate. In Forex rate, number one, direct quotation versus indirect quotation. For example, Egyptian pound, 16 Egyptian pound per US dollar. This is direct quotation in Egypt. So we can define direct quotation as how many units of a national currency required to transfer into or converted into 1 unit of the foreign currency. Our example, 16 Egyptian pound per US dollar. The same in Egyptian market. What about indirect quotation? Indirect quotation, we will convert how many units of a foreign currency required to convert it to Egyptian or national currency. In our example, 0.0625 US dollar per Egyptian pound. What about bid rate versus ask or offer rate? This is the next part. In bid rate, we talk about the price at which the bank is willing to pay for the foreign currency. We talk about, in summary, purchasing price by the bank. Ask or offer rate, this is the adverse process. We talk about the selling price by the bank or the offer price. Spread is the difference between offer price and bid price or bid rate. Perfect competition, yes, in case of perfect competition, we talk about the items related to competitive market and how we can check about these items in the Forex market. Forex cross rate. In case of Forex cross rate, for example, in problem 1, giving the following Forex rate. Suppose the Forex rate 16 Egyptian pound per US dollar and 0.91 euro per US dollar. Based on above rates, it's possible to calculate the Forex cross rate between Egyptian pound and euro by the following. The first relationship 16 Egyptian pound per US dollar. This is equal Egyptian pound divided US dollar. As seen, Egyptian pound divided US dollar equal 16. The second quotation, 0.91 euro per US dollar. We can make it by math that euro divided US dollar. Euro divided US dollar. We can see the final that when this is quotation divided the second quotation, so the relationship equal LE by or per euro. So 16 divided 0.91 equal 17.58 Egyptian pound per dollar, per euro. Yes, we can convert. We can convert by this, the second price divided the first price. When the second price divided the second price divided the first price. In this case, we talk about the relationship between how many euro per Egyptian pound. So, in other way, euro divided US dollar, or euro per how many euros per euro per US dollar, divided how many Egyptian pound per US dollar. In this case, the relationship equal 0.91 divided 16 equal 0.056 euro per Egyptian pound. In all cases, if you want to convert from exchange rate or the forex rate from direct quotation to indirect quotation, direct quotation suppose equal E. Indirect quotation, if you want to convert to indirect quotation, indirect quotation equal 1 divided E. 1 divided E. You can use assignment 4, and this is required. Assignment 4 in application sheet page 19 for our cross forex rate. How you can calculate the forex rate by cross or cross forex rate. Okay, the second topic, forex market tires. Forex market tires. In all cases, two types of forex market, interbank and retail bank, the same. In case of interbank, we talk about wholesale market, and retail market, we talk about the merchant transactions or merchant market. In our lecture, we will focus on the interbank transactions or client market. The next interbank or wholesale market. In this case, we will focus on interbank or wholesale market. In case of interbank, what about the volume of transaction? The difference between interbank and the retail bank, the volume. When we talk about more than 1 million of US dollar, this is interbank transaction. Lower than 1 million, this is retail bank or retail market transaction. Interbank transaction categories. In this case, we talk about trade on the same working day or 2 working days or future dates. So, categories, maybe at the same day, same working day, maybe the second option, 2 working days later or next. Future date, say after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and so on. This is the maximum, 6 months. Cash or ready transaction and value today. In this case, suppose the transaction on the same working day. At the same working day, it's known the value today. or ready transactions or cash transactions. The second option, when we talk about 2 working days, this is a spot transaction. So in general, the different for all categories in interbank transactions. Suppose the transactions on the same working day we can call value today, or cash transactions or ready transaction. Suppose the volume or the transaction 2 working days next. In this case, we talk about spot transaction. Spot transactions, 2 days or 2 working days. Any future date, we talk about forward transaction. Okay, how many differences between spot? We'll focus on the spot rate and forward rate, spot forex rate and forward forex rate. Suppose spot rate 16 Egyptian pounds per $1. The forward rate, suppose the same, 16 Egyptian pound per dollar. So we talk about that at par with the spot forex rate. Egyptian pound traded or US dollar traded at par only when the spot rate equal forward rate. Maybe different between spot rate and the forward rate. 2 options, maybe premium, maybe discount. In case of forward premium, for suppose the spot rate the same, spot rate 1 Egyptian pound, 1 US dollar equals 16 Egyptian pounds. 1 US dollar equals 16 Egyptian pounds. This is the spot rate. What about forward rate? Forward rate, suppose 1 US dollar equal 17 Egyptian pounds. 17 Egyptian pounds. In this case, we can talk about Egyptian pound and US dollar forward premium for US dollar. Forward premium for US dollar. And forward discount for Egyptian pound. Another option or another case, suppose the same spot exchange rate, 1 US dollar equal 16 Egyptian pound, and the forward rate 1 US dollar equal 15 Egyptian pounds. In this case, the Egyptian pound forward premium and the US dollar forward discount. Another relationship between currencies. For example, this is problem 2. Spot forex rate equal for Egyptian pound 16.3 Egyptian pound per US dollar. Forward forex rate equals 16.1 Egyptian pound per US dollar. So what about the forward forex margin with your comments? Margin equal the difference between forward and the spot divided the spot equal, in our example, negative 1.2%. What about your comment? This is the very important. What about your comment? The comment, in that case, because the forward price or forward forex rate lower than the spot forex rate. So negative 1.2% for US dollar called forward discount. The same percent but by positive. Called 1.2% for Egyptian pound called forward premium. So negative for US dollar but positive for the Egyptian pound. Assignment number 5, page 19 in application sheet, the same problem but different values. Finally, thanks my dear students for this lecture, and the attendance link attached with the lecture with our official group. And the next, when we talk about the next week, we will use the Google Classroom to can make our lectures online for you, my students, and I hope you enjoyed with our lecture. Thank you, my dear students.